Hello, hello, and welcome to Muscle for Life. I am your host, Mike Matthews. Thank you for joining me today for another book club episode. See, I said I was going to start doing these again. So here I am with another installment. And the book I'm going to be talking about today is The 7 Principles That Make Marriage Work. And I chose this book because I liked it, of course, because I've read a number of books about romantic relationships and improving them, and I found this to be one of the better ones. It is a very practical and evidence-based book for strengthening a romantic relationship, and it focuses on improving communication, better managing conflict, and building trust and intimacy. And out of all of the things that you can do to improve a relationship, I think that those form a big part of the core fundamentals that provide most of the results, the 20% that provides the 80%. As an analogy, in fitness, you have energy balance and macronutrient balance and progressive overload and training intensity, training volume, a handful of ideas that if you understand them and you know how to use them, you can gain, let's say, at least 80% of all of the muscle and strength that is genetically available to you. If that's all you knew was those fundamentals that I just mentioned and a few others, you could get and stay in great shape for the rest of your life. Now, that isn't to say that you couldn't learn more things if you want to get even more jacked or if you just like learning about health and fitness. But if you never learned another principle about eating, about exercising, about resting and recovering, again, you could achieve what most people are trying to achieve in fitness. And so similarly, I felt that this book did a good job providing a lot of the analogous fundamentals in creating and maintaining a great romantic relationship. Now, if you are currently dating someone newly and you are still in the infatuation stage of the relationship, or if you have been together with somebody for some time but you don't have kids yet and you kind of just have fun together, you might not find this book particularly useful or any book on relationships useful. Because if you do genuinely like each other, if you have some admiration for each other, if you have some respect for each other, if you are sexually attracted to each other, it's pretty easy to have a good relationship when your life is pretty easy. But once the fascination fades, and it always does eventually, the relationship can wither if we don't consciously do the right things. And especially when life gets more difficult, when stress levels are higher because of kids and career obligations and so forth. And so the question, of course, is what are those right things? And that's where this book can help. Now, it can't provide all of the answers, of course, and you might find some of the advice in the book just obvious and instinctive, easy for you to do. You just do these things naturally. But you will probably also learn some new and easy ways to improve your relationship by adding or changing just a few key behaviors. Let's get to my 10 key takeaways from this book. So the first one, quote, "In the strongest marriages, husband and wife share a deep sense of meaning. They don't just get along, they also support each other's hopes and aspirations and build a sense of purpose into their lives together." 2, quote, "In marriage, people periodically make what I call bids for their partner's attention, affection, humor, or support. People either turn toward one another after these bids or they turn away. Turning toward is the basis of emotional connection, romance, passion, and a good sex life." 3, quote, "In our long-term study of 130 newlywed couples, now in its 8th year, we have found that even in the first few months of marriage, men who allow their wives to influence them have happier marriages and are less likely to divorce than men who resist their wives' influence. Statistically speaking, when a man is not willing to share power with his partner, there is an 81% chance that his marriage will self-destruct." 4, quote, "Through the course of their marriages, they had learned to view their partner's shortcomings and oddities as amusing parts of the whole package of their spouse's character and personality." 5, quote, Conflict resolution is not about one person changing. It's about negotiating, finding common ground, and ways that you can accommodate each other. 6, quote, Keep working on your unresolvable conflicts. Couples who are demanding of their marriage are more likely to have deeply satisfying unions than those who lower their expectations. 7. Acknowledging and respecting each other's deepest, most personal hopes and dreams is the key to saving and enriching your marriage. 8. And this one is long, but bear with me. I think you'll find it useful. So, quote, partings. Make sure that before you say goodbye in the morning, you've learned about one thing that is happening in your spouse's life that day, from lunch with the boss to a doctor's appointment to a scheduled phone call with an old friend. Time, 2 minutes a day, times 5 working days, total 10 minutes per week. Reunions. Make sure to engage in a stress-reducing conversation at the end of each workday. Time, 20 minutes a day, times 5 days, total 1 hour, 40 minutes per week. Admiration and appreciation. Find some way every day to communicate genuine affection and appreciation toward your spouse. Time, 5 minutes a day, times 7 days, total 35 minutes. Affection. Kiss, hold, grab, and touch each other during the time you're together. Make sure to kiss each other before going to sleep. Think of that kiss as a way to let go of any minor irritations that have built up over the day. In other words, lace your kiss with forgiveness and tenderness for your partner. Time, 5 minutes a day, times 7 days, total 35 minutes. Weekly date. This can be a relaxing, low-pressure way to stay connected. Ask each other questions that let you update your love maps. Unquote for a second. The love map concept is explained, of course, in the book. Continuing here. And turn toward each other. Of course, you can also use these dates to talk out a marital issue or work through an argument you had that week if necessary. Think of questions to ask your spouse, like, are you still thinking about redecorating the bedroom? Where should we take our next vacation? Or how are you feeling about your boss these days? Time, 2 hours a week, total 2 hours. Grand total, 5 hours. And next takeaway, number 9. And let's face it, anyone you marry will be lacking in certain desirable qualities. The problem is that we tend to focus on what's missing in our mate and overlook the fine qualities that are there. We take those for granted. And finally, 10, quote, before you try to resolve a conflict, remember that the cornerstone of any compromise is the 4th principle of marriage, accepting influence. That means that for a compromise to work, you can't have a closed mind to your spouse's opinions and desires. You don't have to agree with everything your spouse says or believes, but you have to be honestly open to considering his or her position. Research shows that getting enough omega-3 fatty acids in your diet can benefit you in many ways, including reducing the risk of heart disease, increasing muscle growth, increasing cognitive performance, increasing fat loss, decreasing inflammation, improving mood, reducing muscle soreness after exercise, and more. There is a problem, though. It's hard to get enough of these vital molecules through diet alone. And that's why fish oil is a popular supplement. It is a safe, easy, and healthy alternative to eating a lot of fatty fish, for example. And that's why I created Triton. It is a high-potency, molecularly distilled fish oil with 2,400 milligrams of EPA and DHA per serving, and those are omega-3 fatty acids that have been specifically linked to a lot of the benefits I just mentioned. And Triton also has vitamin E and lemon oil to prevent oxidation, rancidity, and nasty fish oil burps. Triton is also produced from deep water Peruvian anchovies and sardines caught by fisheries approved by Friend of the Sea. And Triton meets the very stringent purity standards of the European Pharmacopoeia Reference Standards, the Council for Responsible Nutrition, and the Global Organization for EPA and DHA Omega-3. And all that is why I've sold over 100,000 bottles of Triton and why it has over 900 4- and 5-star reviews on Amazon and my website. So if you want to optimize your physical and mental health and performance, and if you want to reduce the risk of disease and dysfunction, you want to try Triton today. Go to buylegion.com/Triton, Triton, and use the coupon code MUSCLE at checkout, and you will save 20% on your first order. And if it is not your first order, you will get double reward points, which means you will get 6% cash back. And if you don't love Triton, for any reason, just let us know, and we will give you a full refund on the spot. No form and no return is even necessary. So you really can't lose. Go to buylegion.com/Triton, use the coupon code MUSCLE at checkout and save 20%, or get 6% cash back, and try Triton risk-free and see what you think. Well, I hope you liked this episode. I hope you found it helpful. And if you did, subscribe to the show because it makes sure that you don't miss new episodes. And it also helps me because it increases the rankings of the show a little bit, which of course then makes it a little bit more easily found by other people who may like it just as much as you. And if you didn't like something about this episode or about the show in general, or if you have ideas or suggestions or just feedback to share, shoot me an email, mike@muscleforlife.com, muscleforlife.com, and let me know what I could do better, or just what your thoughts are about maybe what you'd like to see me do in the future. I read everything myself. I'm always looking for new ideas and constructive feedback. So thanks again for listening to this episode, and I hope to hear from you soon.